Good evening. I will be talking to you about the killer drug, which is heroin. So, what is heroin? Heroin is a highly addictive narcotic drug that can cause dependency. Heroin is made out of morphine, which is a very powerful painkiller. And you get morphine from like the hospital and places that supply things like that for surgeries. The effects on the body, so over time it breaks down parts of the brain that makes people feel pleasure and happiness. So pretty much the serotonin in your body is cut off. In your head, you feel alert sometimes, but then you have the drowsiness and the downfall, and then you have the numbness in the body, but also then you have the heaviness in your body as well as a reverse side effect. Your mouth gets very dry, your muscles get very weak because of the malnutrition. Your lungs have slower breathing due to the fact that you're inhaling and are storing these things in your body that aren't supposed to be there. More effects on the body. You definitely lose weight, like I said, because of poor nutrition. For pregnant women, you have miscarriages. Your babies can come prematurely delivered with low birth weights. They're physically dependent on the drug already. They also could have seizures as well. Sharing needles could cause a risk of HIV, hepatitis C, hepatitis B. Also, sharing needles as well could cause skin ulcers and bubbles underneath the skin and in the blood vessels, which can eventually cause strokes. Psychological effects. You feel desperate. A lot of people have criminal behavior, and that's almost guaranteed as an outcome of heroin use. Many addicts find themselves willing to do almost anything to find a fix, including breaking the law. Regular heroin use increases risk-taking behaviors. People struggle with heroin addicts often taking part in riskier behaviors, so they just do more and more dangerous things. Heroin addicts will ruin relationships. It's extremely common for people with heroin addiction to have shattered marriages, relationships with friends and family, and broken trust. So that's a real long-term and short-term factor as well. Long-term use of years and years and years could take off years of your life. Heroin sold on the street could be really pure, but also it could be cut so they could put other things in it, such as like baby powder and like baking soda and stuff, and that's really not good for your body, obviously, to be snorting and or smoking that. Long-term effects, you have more diseases. You're more susceptible to diseases like HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, collapsed veins, infections of the heart and the valves, liver and kidney disease. Short-term effects, obviously, you have that rush, but then you get depressed. You have cloudy mental status, you're nauseous, vomiting. Heroin addicts spend a lot of time being isolated and away from their friends and families. It's been on a great increase since 2007, and like I said before, they cut it with sugar, starch, powdered milk, anything they could put in that looks white. And pure cocaine is a white powder, and it has a bittery taste. Here are all my citations. I went through the mental effects of heroin. I looked up the short-term and long-term effects. I went to the substance abuse websites, and I looked into that stuff. To go back on one more thing, you can find happiness and become clean, as I mentioned. you know, a lot of people do turn their lives around at the end, and you just need a good support system. That is it. Thank you for listening.